Ted?
I want to ask all of you about your party's leadership in Washington. The top Democrat in the House, Speaker Nancy Pelosi, is 82 years old. The number 2 House Democrat, Steny Hoyer, is 83. The number 3 House Democrat, Jim Clyburn, is 82. And the latest reporting is that all three may try to hold on to their leadership posts after the November election, potentially even if Democrats lose the House. Mr. Magaziner, if you were elected to the House, would you support or oppose Nancy Pelosi having another term leading House Democrats?
Yeah, I would. Listen, first of all, I'm excited to be part of a younger generation coming into Congress. I do think that we need more generational diversity in our government.
What about leadership?
That being said, I have tremendous respect for Nancy Pelosi. She passed the Affordable Care Act over Republican opposition, including Alan Fung. She passed the Inflation Reduction Act. She passed the CHIPS Act. And if she decides to seek the speakership again, she will have my support.
So you'll go down and vote for 3 octogenarians to lead the Democratic Party into the 2020s further?
Yeah, look, the leadership team that's there has just had a great run. And just in the last month and a half, they passed the Inflation Reduction Act, the CHIPS Act, expanded health care benefits for veterans. They've been effective, so they would have my support.
Mr. Siegel, same question. If Speaker Pelosi seeks another term leading House Democrats, would you support or oppose?
I would likely support her. I, of course, do think that generational change is important over time. And I also think that ideological change is important. And one thing that I've been very heartened by over the course of recent years, and you might say that this started around when Bernie ran for office, is that big ideas have taken hold in the Democratic Party that were not within the realm of what was acceptable to debate even 7 or 8 years ago. And I think that as long as leaders are responding to the needs of people on the ground, which I think we see increasingly over the course of the last couple of weeks through the Inflation Reduction Act and student debt relief, it makes sense to support them in doing so. And I've been very heartened to see these new ideas take hold across the party, including with people who used to disagree with me on some of these issues.
Ms. Fox, another term for Nancy Pelosi. Would you support it?
Yes, I would support her, and I would be proud to be Rhode Island's first Democratic woman elected to Congress to serve from Rhode Island.
And Ms. Morgenthau, same question. Would you support Speaker Pelosi for another term?
Yes, I would. I think Speaker Pelosi has done a really good job in really difficult times. I think that we needed the steady hand of experience and the leadership that she did. And we've just had a great run in Congress, which I think is terrific. And I'm pleased about, her trip to Taiwan. I think that's another important testament to her ability to really see things on the global and the national stage.
Before we move on, a quick follow-up, and I'll stick with you, Ms. Morgenthau, on this. We've seen a lot of mixed opinions on this in the Democratic Party. President Biden will turn 82 in 2024. Do you think he should seek re-election or step aside?
I think he could seek re-election, and as you know, Ted, I think I was the only one who said that publicly when asked a short while ago.
Mr. Siegel, President Biden run for re-election?
I think, as with most Democrats, I think that we need to see. I think most people in the party agree on this point. I think that the more that we're able to demonstrate that we care about where people are coming from and what they're going through right now, as with the Inflation Reduction Act, as with the student debt relief.
Do you think President Biden should run again?
I think that, like I said, I think most Democrats agree that it's a little bit too soon to say. We need to get through these midterms, but it bodes well for us if we're actually responding to the needs of everyday people, which it seems like we're increasingly poised to do. And a party that continues to do that.
Ms. Fox, another term for President Biden?
Well, Ted, I'd like to ask what you have against people in their 80s.
I should say my grandmother is watching, and she's 95, but she knows I love her. So I
think if President Biden,
as we're talking about here, and I should say, because I don't want our older viewers to think that this is just picking on it, but we are talking about every leader of the Democratic Party we've mentioned so far in this segment is in their 80s now, and none of you are in your 80s unless you've lied to us about your ages. So that's why this has come up. We had a poll: 40% of Democratic primary voters in Rhode Island were the only share that wanted President Biden to run again.
Yeah, I think if he would like to run again and he's our nominee, I will support him.
Mr. Magazine?
Yeah, so whether he runs again or not is obviously his decision, but he's been on a great run lately. In addition to the CHIPS Act, the Inflation Reduction Act, expanding health care access for veterans, he also just took out the top leader of Al-Qaeda. And so he's been on a roll lately, and if he chooses to run again, I think he'll earn the support of most Americans.